Welcome to another episode of Whiteboard Project Management YouTube channel. In this channel, we will explain your 3 steps to evaluate your project progress. Stay connected. This is Roman with you, and this is Whiteboard Project Management YouTube channel. In this channel, we explain the tools and techniques used in the project management in a practical way. So if you like it, or you are new here, consider subscription to the channel. Let's hit the whiteboard and get started. In order to define your project progress, you will go through your main 3 steps. So let's go directly to step number 1. Step number 1, you need to define your progress in periods. What does this mean? Step number 1. Define progress in periods. From the previous episode of cost control management, we explained the S-curve for the cost management of the project. We will not go in details here, but if you haven't seen this episode, pause this episode, go back to that episode. I will leave link down in the description below and also link up here. So you can go through it, you can review it, and then go back to this episode. So step number 1, we have to define your progress in periods. This means we had said that we have the time versus the cost. We have the S-curve, we have the budget at completion. The time is estimated to be finished over here. This is the time of the project, and we said our project is somewhere over here. We have the actual cost, and we have the earned value, EV. Here, this is the planned value. So if you remember from the previous episode, we said each and every project have a time, and because the time period is different from each project, you need to specify the periods where you are going to measure your progress. You could measure in between, but you have to set your project progress periods. If you are going to send your progress reports on monthly basis for long-term projects, for 1 month and more, or for 1 year and more project, we explained from the previous episode, we estimated that we have 1 month period for 12 months project time. So we specified from month 1, month 2, month 3, up to month 12, we specified the actual cost, the planned value, the cumulative planned value, and the earned value. And because we said also that we have the cost variance and the schedule variance of the project, that the cost variance equals to the earned value minus the actual cost. And the schedule variance equal the earned value minus the planned value. Those 2 factors are important for you to measure during your period of time, because cost variance and schedule variance will tell you if you are ahead of schedule, behind schedule, in schedule, or if you are in budget, over cost, below budget. How those 2 factors tells you? Simply, if you are saying that cost variance is earned value minus the actual cost. If the earned value is somewhere here and the actual cost is here, then you can see clearly that the cost value is negative. Simply, if it's negative, 0, or positive, you have three options. So option number one, if it's negative for the cost, if it's negative, it is over budget. If it's 0, it's in budget. If it's positive, then it is below your budget. Same for the schedule variance. If it's negative, 0, or positive. If it's negative, it is behind schedule. If it's 0, it is in schedule. If it's positive, then it is ahead of schedule. This is simply step number one. Step number one, define project progress in periods. How? For each and every month, you measure the cost variance and the schedule variance. Simply follow this formula and measure it with simple Excel sheet. Those are the main parts for measuring the project progress. Definitely there are a lot of and many details things, but this is the simple way where you just can drop it in Excel sheet and clearly it will open your eyes to the project, where you are and what to do. Let's go now to step number 2. Step number 2, you need to map your status. Let's write it here. We go to step number 2. Map your status. What does this mean? Okay. Another graph will be here. And we will start mapping the cost variance, the schedule variance for each and every month in this simple graph. Put here the schedule variance, put here the cost variance. So in this area, you have the schedule variance positive. In this area, you have it negative. In this part, you have the cost variance positive. And in this part, you have the cost variance negative. Simply translate the positive and negative schedule variance and positive and negative cost variance from previous step and map it over here. How? This area, positive schedule variance and positive cost variance, positive and positive means that the project is ahead of schedule and below budget. Okay? Ahead of schedule and below budget. Here, cost is positive, below budget, below budget, and negative schedule, so it is behind schedule. Here, negative negative means over budget, behind schedule. Over budget, behind schedule. Here, positive negative, so it's ahead of schedule and over budget. Simply we specified the 4 blocks area. Now simply take the cost variance and schedule variance for each month and map it in this graph. You will see it yourself how this will behave. So if we say that in month number 1, the one more thing before we go to month number 1. If this is 0, 0, then you are in budget, in schedule. Means your point here is your target point. Means this point is actually here where you finish in budget and finish in time. Okay? Simply to connect those two figures all together. Take it once again in your mind to check that and connect the two figures, because you are connecting and you are moving to the other step. Then there will be step number 3, where you will see it just in few minutes, how the figures will be connected together. Okay, so I just draw this map in bigger way so you can see it more clear. We said we have below budget, ahead of schedule, below budget, behind schedule, over budget, below schedule, over budget, ahead of schedule, according to the positive and negative values of schedule variance and cost variance. Let's consider that we are now in month number 6 of 12, and we had calculated the cost variance and the schedule variance in each and every month. And let's start. We have now data of 6 months ready to map over here. So in month number 1, we evaluated that the schedule variance, the value of the schedule variance were somewhere over here, and the cost variance somewhere over here. So it meets here. Month number 1. In month number 2, we went down with the schedule variance and the cost variance, and we meet somewhere over here. In month number 3, let's say, we went behind schedule and still somewhere here. In month number 4, we went somewhere here. Okay? In month number 5, we were somewhere number over here. And in month number 6, we've been somewhere over here. Okay? According to the cost variance and schedule variance values from each month, which we calculated, we just map it over here. Now, let's connect all these together. And we go from month number 1 to month number 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. Okay? You can see your project behavior that you started from being definitely month number 0, where we haven't mentioned it, it is here because you started here. Okay? So the row starts here. So you can see the flow of the behavior of your project starts from being below budget, ahead of schedule, dropped down in month number 2. Your progress has been dropped down. In month number 3, you've been behind schedule and you are still in budget. So something went wrong. Effects has been more in month number 4, where you went below the budget, below the schedule and over budget, being over budget in month number 4. Then you did something with your project and your project start behaving a little better. You are still below, over budget, but you increased a little bit. So you make your modification and you move the project to be back ahead of schedule. That means you are doing well. And your actions you did in your project, your analysis and your controlling, your monitoring and controlling of the project, the actions you have did, it works really over here. From month number 5, you can see that we are back to be here where we are ahead of schedule and below the budget. That means we are back to the first point. We are doing very good in this situation. Okay? This graph simply tells you your behavior of the project, and important, it tells you your actions from monitoring and controlling. It works or not. If you are seeing that your project schedule is a little behind the schedule, there is something in delay, and you just did something. You did your crashing of the project, or you did your fast tracking. You did some action. You increased your manpower for a reason, and you've been below over the budget because you increased your manpower, but you are back again. So that means your actions really worked, and you are planning and monitoring and controlling it in a proper way. If you are seeing that you are still moving somewhere here or here, okay, that means from month number 4, if we say month number 5 is here and 6 is here, and we are still moving over here, means you are doing wrong. Your project progress is doing wrong, and your actions you are taking are wrong, or it doesn't have any sense to make the project back to be in budget and in schedule or ahead. Or maybe your actions which you are taking are just a side of what is the real cause. This is important for you as a project manager. You need always to see those figures. When you see it, it tells you more than the numbers which are only set in somewhere in the table. Okay, now we reach to the step number 3 of your project evaluation. This is the evaluating the progress. Step number 3. Evaluate progress. Evaluate progress means simply that you need to evaluate your results. We took this graph from the first step where we had the S-curves. We have the plan and the actual. Then we moved to this figure. From this figure, we will move to our next figure where we have also same lines, where we will say that how many times we've been in this area, how many times we've been here, and how many times we've been here, and how many times we've been here. So you take from this area the values and you map it here. How you take the values? I will take the average values of each area and map it simply here. So I will take this value. The average area of this value is, it's only one value in this area, so it's the same area. So it's here. The average value of this area is only one value, okay, it's same. Average values of this area is 1 point, so it's here. And average value of this area are 3, so that means the values of month 1, month 2, month 6, all together. Month 1 plus month 2 plus month 6 over 3, because they are 3 points. We get the results and we get it somewhere here. Now, make your lines. This is your point where we said this is you are in schedule, in budget. This is this point where you have it, the budget at completion. and this is the time, this is the budget. Okay, you see that you have simple figure, and now you can tell that mostly in this project I am in a good way, I am in this area, and you need to calculate now the average area of this part, which is the good part. If this part tells you that you are in the 33% or 66% or 99%. This is the point where you are in budget and in cost. You have around this area the sigma, where you have the 6 sigma period of time. You have the 1 sigma plus and minus, and that is for 33%. Calculation of the 6 sigma and 33%, the details, we will come to it in the other episodes of quality control. So you will see the quality control of the cost management, how these two are connected together. Don't think that quality control is a side and it's only about the quality of work. It's the quality of the cost as well. It's the quality of your progress as well. This is the quality of everything. The quality of risk, the quality of risk response, the quality of your management. So you are here and you are seeing that your sigma, where you are, and you can see that your area here is more. It's in the 33%. That means you are doing well. And the next month you update it once again. All these figures could be set in one Excel sheet. We will do this once in a workshop in another episode. We will put all these together. We will use also the 12 months, and we will assume some figures to be fed to the project so you can see it yourself how this will be behaving and how the progress and the project is calculating. So once again, those are simple 3 steps. Your simple 3 steps. You don't need to go in other theoretical details. You can do, yes, you can do. There are many theories for calculating this, but this is simply your simple 3 steps to evaluate your project progress in simple way. First graph, second graph, third graph, and you are ready to go to tell your management where you are, what is your project, where you are, what is your project behavior, your actions are working really or not, and your final progress to complete the project. Thank you for watching me and for watching the Whiteboard Project Management YouTube channel today. And I hope that this is satisfied information for you and you had learned something new. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next episode. Thank you.